fellow cinema enthusiasts, my name is Christina and welcome to another Let's Get Reelz movie review. Today is Classic Movie Thursdays here on my channel, my version of Throwback Thursdays. Today I'm going to be more rambling than really reviewing Casablanca. Casablanca is one of my all-time favorite movies. I have it right up here, and if you couldn't tell, I really love Ingrid Bergman. I think she's absolutely fantastic. And I really wanted to talk about it. It's a movie that I haven't even reviewed on my blog, which is linked below. I just never did it, and I really wanted to do it as a video review. Those of you that aren't familiar with Casablanca, it takes place in Casablanca, which is in French Morocco, and it's really when the Nazis are just starting to come into Africa, so Casablanca really wasn't taken over yet. And it's about this group of immigrants who are coming to Casablanca as a way to get to Spain and then get to America. They're all stuck on Casablanca. It's very hard to get exit visas, it's very hard to get letters of transit to leave Casablanca, and so many of the immigrants have been stuck there for a really long time, and they just wait and wait and wait. One of the places that all the immigrants go and wait is Rick's Cafe American, and Rick, as in Rick Blaine, played by Humphrey Bogart, is the owner. He's an American. He has really no loyalty to anybody. He did a lot of gun running. He fought on the side of the Loyalists in the Spanish Civil War. He did all kinds of things, and he wound up in Casablanca and running Rick's Cafe American. As everybody says in the movie, everybody goes to Rick's, and they do. They go gamble, they go drinking. There's a lot of immigrants that work in the bar and as servers, and generally they're a pretty happy bunch, and they all like to have a good time because they are waiting. And a lot of the immigrants also do some shady dealings with trying to make money, so some of them exchange their jewelry, some of them make up plans to get out of the country, and all this other kind of stuff. One patron who frequents the cafe is Captain Louis Renault, played by Claude Rains. He's really no good. He's a prefect of police in Casablanca, and he just is on the side of anybody that likes to give him attention, including the German Major Strasser, played by Conrad Veidt. We come to find out that Rick had been in Paris when the Germans had invaded Paris, and that he was also there with a beautiful woman that he was madly in love with named Ilsa Lund, played by Ingrid Bergman. And Ilsa comes into the bar with her husband, Victor Laszlo, played by Paul von Heinried, and we learned that Elsa did have a husband. She thought he was dead, which was why she was seeing Rick in Paris, and she broke his heart because they were gonna leave and get out of France and go to have a great life together, and on the day they were supposed to leave, Victor came back. She found out that he wasn't dead after all. So poor Rick is heartbroken. He was not happy that Ilsa's there, and she plays him. It turns out that Rick has these letters of transit that were being carried by German couriers, and they had been killed at the beginning. And Elsa wants to get Victor out because he's very important to the underground movement and the cause for freedom within Europe and free from persecution of the Nazis, because he had been thrown in concentration camps. And she wants to get him out and get him to a safe place so he can continue his work. So Elsa plays Rick. She's like, Richard, I still love you. I would do anything for you. Please get Victor out of the country. So he plays along with that for a little while, and it becomes a whole story that I'm not going to get into because I'm not going to spoil the ending, even though you possibly have seen clips of the ending. It's a very famous ending, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Casablanca was really one of the first big blockbuster old Hollywood movies that I had watched, mostly because I had really gotten into Ingrid Bergman when I was first beginning to like old Hollywood and classic movies. So I don't know what it is about Casablanca. I really don't know why I love this movie so much. I love the way it was filmed. Michael Curtiz is one of the absolute greatest directors of all time. He could literally do anything. He did Yankee Doodle Dandy, he did The Adventures of Robin Hood, he did film noirs, he made so many great movies. He did westerns, he did Dodge City for Warner Brothers with Olivia de Havilland and Errol Flynn, and then he goes and he makes Casablanca in 1942 and just totally made that entire movie. With his direction, his camera angles, and the cinematography in this movie is just so beautiful. The light and shadow that plays off of Ingrid Bergman when she goes to see Rick in his office in the cafe one night, and like even at the end where it's all fog and it's supposed to be sad, but the colors are just great. The cinematography, the black and white cinematography is just so gorgeous. I can probably go on about that all day. I like that Casablanca is a different war story. It's not taking place in the midst of battle. It's not, taking place in America. It's taking place in this tiny little country, and this tiny little section of this country where all these emigres are, and they're just desperate. It's about desperate people needing to get out and wanting to leave Europe. And it's such like a dark story compared to the other war movies that had been out at this time. And I don't think any studio besides Warner Brothers could have made this movie any less perfect. Warner Brothers, I think, always had the darker movies. They had the greatest pre-codes, in my opinion, and they just knew how to make really engaging stories that were darker and more dramatic, and that was just their way. There was nothing really glamorous about Warner Brothers movies too much compared to like MGM and RKO. And that was it. The story was dark. You had emigres in this movie, real emigres who came from Europe to escape Nazi persecution, and then you had the director, Michael Curtiz, who also left Germany and Austria to escape what was going on there. And I like that rawness of it. I like that it was showing the plight of the people and not just the plight of the soldier. That is just one of the aspects that I find so great about Casablanca, is that it just focuses on the human aspect of war and what it did and what it does to people, and how they have to uproot their lives and how they'll do anything to be free and go to a country that will accept them. I also really like the flip-flopping of the characters. You don't really like any of the characters too much. Rick is a dark character. He's an anti-hero. He's not very likable. Even with Elsa, like, you can see his pain. You do feel bad that she left him, and then, Elsa flip-flops so much. She's playing Rick so hard. She's like, I love you again, please, get me out of here, get Victor Laszlo out, just help me out, Rick, I love you, I want to be with you. He knew it was all a big lie, and it was such a big play to get those letters of transit, and he could see it. He knew that Elsa would do anything for Laszlo. You can actually see the point in the movie where she's like, I really, really love this guy, and it is when he leads the cafe in singing La Marseillaise, which is the French anthem, over the German anthem, and all the people are crying and they're just happy to hear and sing this song again. And that was a moment where she's like, yeah, this guy is very important. I really see it. He really needs to get out and fight for this cause somewhere where he can be more effective and not have to live his life in danger. So Rick knew that, and he helped Elsa, and just like every character, Renault, Rick, Elsa, they were always flip-flopping back and forth. There's no likable characters in this movie, and I always love that. I love characters that are unlikable, because I think it just means the actors are doing a great job and the writing of the characters is pretty good, and it's very deceiving, and I think kind of a good plot for this story in particular. And I also have to throw out there that I did get a chance to see Casablanca for its 70th anniversary in theaters, and let me tell you, I fully understood at that moment why these were just idols of the screen, like Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart, and just the way I saw an old movie the way it was supposed to be seen on a 30-foot screen in 1:33:1 ratio, and oh my god, Ingrid Bergman. I don't think I've ever seen anybody as gorgeous as she looked, especially when she came into the cafe late at night. The glamour lighting on her was just beautiful. So that was my rambling of Casablanca and how much I absolutely love this movie. I hope you guys have seen Casablanca if you're a classic movie buff like I am. If you haven't, please go watch it as soon as you can and then let me know. I could talk about Casablanca literally all day long. I just adore it so much, and every time I watch it, I adore it even more. If you liked my rambling of Casablanca, please give this review a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. If you have seen Casablanca, let's talk about it. Anything you want. Also in the comments, if you guys have any requests of what classic movies I should watch or any other kind of movie, it could be newer, whatever you want, leave them there, and if I pick your movie and I watch it and I review it, I will give you a shout out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future Classic Movie Thursdays and other Let's Get Reelz movie reviews, because that is what I like to do here. And as always, keep watching movies and stay absolutely fabulous.